Episode of the Everblack Podcast is brought to you by Deathwish, Hotrods and Kustoms. Check out their Instagram for all their new t-shirts, caps, beanies, cups, and the all-new Atomic Death lineup. No, but how's it going down there for you, man? How's getting out of lockdown? How's that been?
It's good. Definitely good. It's been months and months, obviously a long time. So nice to get a bit of freedom for sure.
Awesome. Have you done anything exciting or cool since? What was on that bucket list for you to do?
Look, it's pretty normal stuff like seeing your family and things you haven't done for ages. But when I get some more time, I want to go for some long drives out into the hills and do some stuff that was a bit restrictive to not be able to do, because I do like to get out into nature.
Yeah, awesome, man. Awesome. Well, dude, it's awesome you could join us on the show. Thanks for taking the time. I'm sorry couldn't do it the other night. Everything's crazy.
All good.
But
all good.
Man, no, I definitely appreciate it. So, of course, it's been 5 years, I believe. And finally, the Bellacore album is out, Coherence. And everyone is loving it, dude. Like, you know, how's it feel that it's out there in the world and you're getting all this great positive feedback?
It's exciting. It's always nerve-wracking and a bit exhausting, as in like the anticlimax of making something for 5 years.
Yeah.
And then putting it out there and having that weird feeling of, firstly, what do I do now? Like, okay, now it's time for the next album and sort of thing. But also, you know, of course, we read some comments and reviews and some of them are obviously really nice. And then you'll see something that makes you question, oh, maybe we did do something that we could have done, you know, made it better sort of thing. So it's, but overall, it's a good feeling, definitely, to get it out there.
Yeah, awesome, man. You know, we were mentioning the weather before, and I was driving home, and I thought, I'm going to give it another crank. And I turned it up, and it was like gloomy, cloudy. And I was like, yeah, man, this is what this shit is made for. It's like the best, It was like perfect experience.
I think that's the way to do it. Like, I can't really see myself wanting to listen to it on a hot, sunny day when it's like bright, you know, like it's better for those dark, cold, rainy times. I would agree with that.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. It was pretty damn cool. Well, it was definitely worth the wait though. And you know, I know you guys put so much care and detail in everything that you do, but you know, aside from that thing that, you know, shall not be named that everyone's talking about, you know, everyone's sick of talking about. You know, what took that process over that 5 years? You know, what happened between this one and Vessels?
It's a funny one. So basically 27, you know, Vessels came out in 2016. I think we probably took a few months of not much work. And then all of 17, 18, 19, we were writing the album. I'd say so that the album probably took 6 months longer than normal to write. We did find it to be a slow, steady process. And then, yeah, I mean, the pandemic, obviously, even though we don't want to talk about it too much, it did extend the recording, not the writing, but the recording by quite a bit of time. So it's also just our lives. Like, we're busier than we were when we were 22. And so our albums just take us a bit longer to do. But I'm pretty keen to try and make sure the next one is more of a 3 years would be awesome rather than 5 for sure.
Well, as I said, it was definitely worth the wait. Have you started working on new tunes already over that time?
Not well. There's always a backlog of riffs and melodies and things we have always intended to use that we are yet to use, and then your mind starts going. Like, if you read a review of the new album, your mind starts thinking about, okay, some stuff for the next album. It sort of makes me excited to try and get going on it. So yeah, not really. Like, the next thing the band will do is get together and prepare for our tours. So we're looking at Australian tour and then US for the first time and Europe.
Yeah, nice, man. Big plans ahead.
Yeah, it'll be a long process, but it'll be awesome to actually get to the US, because it's been a lot of years of us wanting to, but not doing it. So we'll be keen to do that.
Yeah, that'd be awesome, man. Because you've done Europe before.
We've done it, 3 times, but they've always been short tours, 2 to 3 weeks at the most. Go over there, play a handful of festivals and come home. So I think we're looking at trying to do maybe a headline tour, a short one, but something a bit different rather than just the festivals. But yeah, exciting. And I can't wait to get back there and have some good food and beer and enjoy the weather and the scenery and all those sorts of things.
Oh man, I'd just love to do it just once.
It's good. I mean, touring is exhausting as well, but we've always chosen to do it in a way that isn't totally destroying, where I think if you go and do it for 6 months of the year, a show every night, you're going to start to hate it. So we try and do it in a way that we can enjoy it as well.
Too much of a good thing sometimes. Is that what you're saying? Like you think it's like
precisely.
Yeah,
and I think anything more than 3 weeks is probably too much of a good thing when it comes to touring. It's pretty, you're not washing as often, you're eating poorly, you're sleeping maybe poorly as well. So it'll add up pretty quickly.
Well, I mean, the concept of Coherence, I read it's set on a mountain. Is that right? And about different people's experiences on that mountain. Like how does that work? Like how'd you come up with that concept?
I don't really actually remember exactly. We started writing some things, so it probably came more from the ideas of the things that people experience, where they want to find meaning in life, or they're striving to achieve something, or they are resisting something, and that's causing them suffering. Those sorts of ideas probably are at the heart of the stories that people experience. And then putting it based in one setting was a way of us tying them together without being restricted. So our previous album, Vessels, we were very linear. We had to keep the songs in a certain order because the story was in a very strict order. You couldn't juggle them around after you'd mixed the album. So we wanted to have a looser concept and a location, and it gave us some flexibility with actually track order and those sorts of things.
Is it characters? Like, is that where you started with it? You sort of came up with a cast of characters to draw?
Not really. No, it sort of happened as it went. So we're definitely the location and the themes we had. And then we just started writing some stories set in that setting. And by the end of that process, I guess we had a few characters or people who had lived there. And then the final song on the album is sort of tying it together with some connections where there's sort of these, I guess you could say, a couple of children running around, and they're still sort of innocent and soaking up life, but they're sort of coming across these people that the album has told us their stories, and they're reflecting on how that has shaped them. And then by the end of the song, they're changed forever, I guess, and they're not children anymore. So it's it's an interesting one. It sort of came together in a strange way, but I'm happy with how it did come together.
Are you looking at expanding on that in some way, like in a novel or?
Well, it's a cool idea. I heard about 12 Foot Ninja did a thing like a graphic novel. I'm very impressed by that. That would be really cool to do that, but it's a big job to do that.
Yeah, I don't know how. I don't know. It would be. I mean, very time consuming, but
yeah,
it'd be cool.
But if you could do it,
oh yeah,
be awesome.
Absolutely. And you jammed with what did you jam with? It's Tuesday or is it Monday? Let me back that up. You got Jens Bogger or Jens Bogger
Jens.
Jens. I'm pretty sure it's the J is silent.
Actually, I think I got told off. I think I used to call him Jens, and I was told it's Jens.
It is Jens.
Maybe it's Jens. Yeah.
Oh, see, man.
It's tough.
The comments are just gonna be like, yeah,
it's a tough one.
Jed's full. But anyway, you got him to mix the album, didn't you?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Incredible. He's amazing at what he does. Even though I can't pronounce his name properly, I know his work, and it's fucking awesome. With him.
Yeah, he mixed of Breath and Bone for us, and we loved it. Loved the mix. When we did Vessels, we wanted a more kind of organic or unique sounding mix that just didn't sound like that particular sort of commercial, very, very polished sound. And then we did that. And then after Vessels, we wanted this new one to have that slightly heavier, slightly more polished mix that Jens does. So he was great to work with as always. And he kind of probably by the end of it, we hit him with lots of requests and something around about 400 mixed notes that we sent him. Oh. And I felt a bit bad about that. And we, in the end you get there, but it's a long process. But, what he does is he brings the drums out, makes the drummer sound amazing. He puts a place for every instrument and you can hear everything pretty clearly, and that's important in our music. obviously he has a huge experience in some of those sort of soundscapey things that we wanted to do. And overall, he just does a great job. And with the vocals as well, he's always done a good job at making George's vocals kind of sit well in the mix, but have some atmospheric elements as well. Sometimes that the first time he did that on A Breath of Bone, we loved it, and we hadn't really asked for it. It just was what he did. So he's good at his job, definitely.
Yeah, it sounds incredible. And
yeah, thank you.
I was turning it up, and your vocals, that's something I definitely noticed. Yeah, as you mentioned, the vocals, they're just so clear and just right there, and everything sits so nicely. So it's money well spent. And
yeah, he's not cheap, is he? But I think it's worth it. If you're going to take 5 years to make an album, I think you need to kind of be prepared to pay a bit to get it to the level, hopefully, that the best it can be at the end.
Absolutely. And the artwork, the cover is pretty cool. It's very simple, but is that meant to be like an aerial shot of the mountain, or is that
it's interesting that you say that. I'm glad you said that, actually, because that's one of the ways I think of it, but it is an abstract bit of art that pretty much anyone who looks at it is up to them if they want what they want to see in it. So yeah, there's no particular thing that it's meant to be, as far as I know. We did some searching online, as we always do, until we find a bit of artwork we like. We prefer to do it that way, as opposed to commissioning someone to draw us a thing that we tell them to draw. So basically, when we found it, I liked it because it represented a kind of chaotic motion and natural chaos and stuff to me. And then the album title with Coherence sort of was a bit of a juxtaposition with that, where your mind is trying to impose coherence on the chaos of the world. So that sort of stuff, to me, I liked that. And then it happened to also look a little bit like maybe a top-down view of a mountain in some parts of it, which was really cool.
Yeah, that's what I got from it. But
that's awesome.
You could also see it as like a close-up of the bark of a tree, maybe.
Yeah.
And I like it. Yeah.
And some parts have a feeling of water, like water crashing and stuff. So I like how it is abstract. And for us, that was a nice thing, because a lot of our other album covers have been less so. They've been more obvious what they are.
Yeah. And it looks awesome on merch too.
Yeah, awesome. That's a good thing too. Yeah. No, cheers. It's good to hear that people, that you're thinking it's a good picture, because we never really know. We just have to pick what we think is cool or what we like.
You just put it out there. But
put it out there, exactly.
Yeah, that's it. And then it's up to the rest of the world. But one thing you've just the special edition is incredible. Like that thing, I want a copy of it. It comes with like the coin and the flag and some other goodies in this like wooden box. No bands do that these days. I mean, you get your special editions, but that's something that's like super, super collectors. Have you got one?
Well, this might be weird, but I just ordered one myself for the fun of it. Because Napalm Records will send us, a handful of CDs for free.
Yep.
But none of the wooden box ones. And I just figured I want to get one, so I ordered one. But it hasn't actually come yet.
Oh.
So, hopefully soon it will.
Because the coin looks incredible. Don't keep it.
I'm waiting,
people.
I'm waiting for the day when that coin becomes, legal tender somewhere, and we can, go and pay for a hotel with it or something. That would be good.
But you wouldn't want to lose it. It's something you'd be kicking yourself if you just put it in your money box.
Exactly. You'd want to put it somewhere careful. There'll be 500 of them, and that's it. So look after it.
That's it. I want to get a copy. I want to get a copy of the vinyl, because I've fallen down the vinyl rabbit hole of late. And I'm just I'm just loving everything I possibly can on vinyl. And I really think this album sounds amazing. Have you got like a test pressing? Did you get a test pressing or anything like that?
No, and actually there's big issues with the vinyl at the moment, with delays due to the manufacturing and a lack of certain things required to even make them. So there's a delay of a couple of months on the vinyls. So we're yet to see any vinyls, which is disappointing. It was a bit of a kind of flat bit of news for us to get like 5 days before the album came out. But the fans have been pretty understanding, which we appreciated. We thought they might be really upset with us, but at least they haven't told us that they are.
I think people understand in this, in the current world situation that, it's strange. I've got a bunch of other mates that are going through that at the moment. Things getting delayed because of, the vinyl or the something. It's just, yeah, but at least the album's out there and they can still listen to it. And then when the vinyl comes, they can have their vinyl copy and they can just hear it in a whole new way.
Exactly. And so we've made sure that we are giving the download code to anyone who had a vinyl order that's delayed, they can get it. We've also got the vinyl master available on Bandcamp, and we're happy to send people a code for that too. So if they are audiophiles and they want to just sit down and listen to the vinyl master, they can do that too.
Awesome. That's awesome. But I will have to get myself an actual copy because there's something about it. Are you a vinyl dude?
I think I would be in spirit, but I actually don't collect vinyls, but I like them. And I think if I was maybe a music fan more than a person in a band and my hobby was music, I think I'd hugely be into collecting vinyls because as a kid, I liked buying CDs, collecting CDs, looking at the physical CD. And I definitely get it.
Yeah, I think that's where I've sort of hit, like, I got sick of all the digital stuff and being able to hold the physical product and see the artwork all blown up and stuff like that. It's really cool.
I get it. It makes sense. And I think in metal, especially, like it's a genre where there's less fans, but the fans that you do have are often pretty full on and they really care. So it's the right place to be doing it. I think that's why vinyls sell quite well in this genre.
Absolutely. People love it. But, you signed to Napalm, who seem to be really pushing this one. Like, the promotion from this side has been great. Like, shout out to Chris Marek.
Yeah, he's awesome. Chris has been
legend.
Great.
Fucking legend. He's been really behind you down here, and it's been awesome to see.
It's good to hear because we never really can get, like, you get a bit of an idea. Like, we talked to Chris, he's doing some really good things to help us get the word out, but you can never really tell because you can't see everything and be everywhere. So if you're getting that sense, then that's great news.
Yeah, man. Yeah, 100%. 100%. He's a good dude, really good dude, and he's good at what he does. But how do you find that through everything that's been going on, how has the label supported you guys, knowing that things are getting delayed and everyone's working and behind the scenes to try and make things work? And how has that experience been?
I think you're right. Like, the number one way Napalm Records has supported us is by being patient. And probably when they signed us initially, we had to tell them a lot of times, like, we're not going to be able to rush this. We just have to do this at whatever speed it takes. So they were good with that. They've been good. I mean, even the fact some people might be disappointed that we don't do fully fledged music videos, performance clips in a warehouse or miming along to the music, but Napalm's taken the time to understand what we do and like to do and don't do and why. And so they've worked with that and pushed the strengths and not tried to make us do a bunch of stuff that would look weird, I think, for us. And then at the moment, we're working with Napalm Events to do some tour planning for that US and European tour. So I think the biggest benefits will come through that, where, Napalm's global networks and contacts will actually help us to have some really good tours. So really great label.
Have you got an idea of who you're going to be hitting the road with?
Well, the US tour is still, we don't know. We're just basically probably looking to headline if we can, but if we can't, we don't know who we'd be playing with. There is some talk of Insomnium, I think, but I'm not sure. But a lot of that's still to be determined. So we'll see what comes out in the next sort of couple of months with the planning.
That'd be cool. And you also mentioned about touring Australia.
Yeah.
Little Australian run, which is exciting. Is Brisbane, Gold Coast going to be on that list? Got it. Come on, man.
Brisbane is definitely. I don't know if Gold Coast is. And you're a Gold Coast, aren't you?
I'm on the Goldie. Yeah, I am. But I can.
How far away are the two?
Oh, it's about an hour. Not even 40 minutes drive.
Bad.
I know.
Not too bad.
But we've got some awesome venues here. Hey man, I'd make the driver. Have you? You know when you're looking at when?
Well, we're looking to announce a tour. I think in the next 2 months. We're working with Destroy All Lines.
Oh, excellent.
But so I probably won't know exactly in terms of the exact dates, but it's sort of middle of next year ish. We were going to do it earlier, but we're just being careful with COVID because the cost of booking and committing to that. We don't want to have 3 cancellations before we actually play. So yeah, it'll be good to do it, and just to be confident that when we do it, we can really run with it and not worry about cancellations.
That's true. No, I'm seeing that a lot lately, which it's been a bummer, but
it's been 2 years of every time you open Instagram, all you see is a band or a festival and a cancelled across the top of it.
Oh man, I hate it. It sucks, eh? But
so it'll be great to have a return to some normality.
That's it. It's going to be a good feeling for a lot of you guys down there too. I mean, being able to play those shows and tour and get back to doing what you guys do best.
Sure. Yeah, and for us, it's I think we're a bit lucky in some ways, because some bands, they literally would have been touring, heaps. Like they would have done 50 shows, 100 shows. They've maybe lost a lot of income. Because we've chosen to treat the band more like a business/side hobby. We have our job, and then we have our hobby, which is the band, and we try to grow it. And it's a lot of fun to do it that way. We've not been like financially destroyed by the pandemic, the way some musicians may have struggled. But yeah, it's been a hard time for everyone. And the venues, feel very sorry for the venues. We've been talking to like the Bendigo Hotel here in Melbourne, and they on the verge of shutting down, I think, at some point, in terms of how hard it is. So it's just not a good time.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's not. So hopefully it's going to bounce back very soon. But I'm a big fan of having real keyboards, in bands. I'm a big fan of all that. But what are your thoughts on, a lot of bands are moving over to just having everything on backing track and digital and all that. I'm not a big fan. I like seeing someone up there like yourself, like smashing things out.
Yeah. So do you mean for the live part of the show?
Live. Yeah, absolutely. And I like that there's that art of it. What's your thoughts on that?
So obviously our albums have multiple layers of lead guitars, sometimes 3, 4 layers of lead guitars. So we have started using some backing tracks to help support the harmonies. So yeah, Sean will get up there and play all the leads, obviously. But if there's a couple of sections of a song that just need that harmony, we use the backing track to provide that third guitar, essentially, sometimes.
Yep.
And it's really helped to make the live show sound as we would like it to. And then we don't really use backing tracks for anything else. Obviously, like there's no, it's not like in pop where that you need to sing a note perfectly. Like there's growls. You're not going to do backing tracks for growls. Sometimes there's a little bit of ambient stuff, but really not that much. And obviously the keyboards, I just play the parts live because they're not insanely complicated, or they don't need to be backing track. So it's really just those harmonies, but I think they're important for that purpose, to give the show the sound you would want it to have.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the band's name originated from Warhammer. Is that right?
Yeah, it did.
So I don't know, man. Metal dudes, like, I don't know. You can probably see all this shit behind me, but metal dudes and nerdy stuff go hand in hand. It's just the culture, man. Are you a nerdy dude? Like,
I'm definitely a nerdy dude, but I'm not one of the Warhammer guys. It's a bit of an unfortunate scenario where I get pigeonholed maybe as one of the guys that would have played the game, but I didn't. So yeah, it was probably 2 or 3 of the guys back in very early uni days, or 20 years ago type thing. Yeah. And I remember going around and we were talking about picking a band name, and it was discussed as an idea. And at that time, Be'lakor was apparently like a really minor character in the game, where just very small. And I think in the past few years, it's been elevated a little bit within the Warhammer game, because I've noticed on Google it's coming up more.
Yeah.
But we have never been like inspired by or based on the game. The lyrics, it's not like that. It's just a cool word. But yeah, it's stuck with us now, so we've got to run with it.
That's it. I mean, I don't play I know I've got mates that do, and they paint them and do all that. That's I'm more your straightforward action figure kind of dude.
Yeah.
But it's interesting. I was interested. Going, I wonder if they're, like when they're, because I know, was it Sven from Aborted? He's right into that stuff too. So instead of just being brutal all the time, he's painting his figures. Yeah. It's definitely like, if you look at the guys in the band, none of us are super like trendy people, and we all have our hobbies that are probably a little bit nerdy or whatever. But I think you're right. That's probably quite common in metal as well, where people will have obscure
interests that kind of tuck them away in their home more than your average person.
It's true. It is true. All of them. All of them are nerdy dudes. Hey, but that's our community, and I'm all about it. You know.
Yeah. Go with it.
You got to roll with it. But man, what else you guys have coming up? What can we expect for 2022?
We're actually probably looking at maybe doing a live stream show as well, because if the tours are maybe slightly later than they would have been otherwise, I think a nice live stream show, like maybe one for different time zones, like a couple of slots, would be great to do. It would be fun, especially people overseas who haven't ever seen us live. It's nothing the same, but it might be something good for them to have a look at. They might be keen. So we'll look at doing that, and then, preparing for our Aussie tour, and hopefully writing some more stuff more quickly than 5 years as well.
But hey, man, it's exciting times for you. I mean, that's for sure. I mean, I know that stream will probably be really, really popular because, I mean, as you said, there's people out there that are probably hanging to see you guys for a long, long time. And it's only going to amp them up more for when you actually get over, which is just
the tough one. Thing. Exactly. And the tough situation is when you get a message from someone, maybe Mexico, South Africa, places that, we may struggle to get to anytime soon.
Gold Coast.
Yeah, cool. You can put that in the same category if you want.
No.
But it's going to be, for people like that, maybe a chance to have a look as well, because if I'm being honest, it's harder to get to those places, especially Gold Coast.
I know. We're the worst, eh? You don't want to come here. We're the worst.
You hear some stories about it.
Oh, it's the worst, mate. No. No, but in all seriousness, though, I mean, there are some of those places out there in the world that, it is quite difficult to get to, and they love it. They love the metal, man. Like, in South America, you see some of like the Maiden DVDs and stuff, and they froth it. They love it.
If you do get there, I think you'll have a great crowd. So you're right. There's some passionate people there.
Let me back that up. See, I told you I'm struggling. It says the Gold Coast thing. It rots your brain.
It's thrown you.
Yeah, it has. But have you found that you've toured overseas somewhere and you've played somewhere like that, and you've just gotten a really great response that you didn't expect you were going to get?
Well, the first time probably in Germany was a shock to see that we could just go to Germany and there are people who know our music. That's an example of what, for us, that was a great sort of a surprise or a good feeling. And the other one's probably Romania. Like, we've only played Romania once, but it was a long drive and a dangerous drive. We got put in these little rental cars, the wrong cars, not the ones we booked. And then we saw a head-on collision near us because the Romanian drivers are really kind of pretty wild and the roads aren't very good. And so eventually, after 7 or 8 hours of driving your way through Europe, you get to Romania, and to see that there were people in Romania at the festival that kind of were excited to see us, and they've made a flag and they've written Be'lakor, those sorts of things. It was very cool. A good experience, definitely.
Apart from the drive.
The drive was bad, and it traumatized a few of us. Because not nice. I think we were the first people on the scene and the only people on the scene for a few minutes, and we didn't speak the language, and they were there was some serious injuries. So,
dude,
it was a stressful thing.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, man. Like, you don't hear about that stuff, Yeah,
and from that point on, we were very careful. Like, the guys that were driving were doubly careful about watching what was going on, because I think the roads there aren't the same as what you might be used to in other parts of Europe.
Yeah, full on, dude. Full on. You could write a book. There you go.
Well, that's pretty much my only anecdote. I think I've just given my anecdote, and that's the book.
Well, there's plenty more adventures to be positive ones.
Exactly.
What are they out there now?
Crashes.
Just positive, big adventures on the way. But in the meantime, the new Be'lakor album, Coherence, is out now. We'll have all the links in the show notes down here. Brother, thank you so much for hanging out and talking all things metal and nerdy.
Pleasure. Thank you. It's been good.
Hey, we'll see you on the Gold Coast very soon, I hope.
Let's make sure we can actually do that, or if not, well, at least in Brisbane.
Yeah, Brisbane, or just come down for the day, have a beer, but I'll see you at the Brisbane show more than
No, that's awesome. I appreciate it, Nev. It's good to chat.